Folks, I wanted to do this rant last night. Seriously, I wanted to do this rant, but I'm kind of afraid to yell late night because of my fucking stupid ass fucking landlord. Last time I yelled when it came to a New England sports team losing was when the Boston Bruins were losing to the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup Finals, where EPPD, East Providence Police Department's finest, came knocking on my door and said, keep it down. Thankfully, Live PD was not filming at that time. But now it's Monday morning. My landlord's not here. I get to fucking rant and fucking rave about this fucking team, what I saw last night. And I understand there are people on here that are going to be watching this. They're going to be fucking trolling me. You know what? I don't care what your fucking opinion is. Because through the first half of this season, the New England Patriots looked like a buzzsaw. They desecrated and destroyed any team that was in their way. Yes, they had a trap game with the Buffalo Bills. But that all changed last night when the Baltimore Ravens, and don't get me wrong, Lamar Jackson, man, is going to be a star. To me, he's the Michael Vick of this new generation in the NFL. You want to know what the Ravens did to the Patriots last night? They exposed the New England Patriots. They won the game 37-20, and let me just say it right now. There's not two teams in the AFC that's Super Bowl contenders. Oh, no. There's three teams now. Of course, you know the New England Patriots, they're always going to be that number one team. The Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. And now you got the Baltimore Ravens there as that number 3 team. What happened to this Patriots defense last night? It was back to reality. They had no answers whatsoever against a heavy rush offense. 210 yards they gave up on the running game. 3 touchdowns. 41 carries in total between Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill. And when any successful offense, having a ground game opens things up in the passing game. You know, I'll talk about that Browns game in just a bit from last week. Even though Lamar Jackson had 17 of 23 pass attempts for 163 yards and 1 touchdown. So you look at the tallies. The Ravens scored 4 offensive touchdowns against the Patriots last night. And even before this game happened last night, the Patriots only allowed 4 offensive touchdowns through the entire season. And what killed the Patriots last night, too? Not just the running game, because I know people are talking about this on social media. The fact that Cleveland kind of started the exposing of the run defense of the Patriots last week, despite the fact that the fucking Cleveland Browns played like fucking trash last week in Foxborough. But what killed the Patriots? Penalties. There was 5 occasions in which the Patriots extended Baltimore's drive. Calhoun, look at I believe it was 4th down on the first drive. Baltimore's going for the field goal, neutral zone infraction. Once I saw that happen, I knew this game was done. I knew the Ravens were going to beat the Patriots last night. Tom Brady, intentional grounding. Not to mention, Julian Edelman had to fumble the ball in the 3rd quarter, which really put the nail in the coffin on the fucking Patriots' undefeated season. And more importantly, the Ravens put pressure on Tom Brady. Let me tell you what they did. 21 blitzes in total last night that resulted in 9 pressures, one of which Tom Brady got a pick in the fourth quarter. Now you're not going to tell me, oh, Derek, these teams in the NFL are not going to blitz anymore. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. NFL teams at this point, before the Patriots played the Ravens last night, not one freaking team knew what Tom Brady was doing. They didn't know how to blitz Tom Brady in the Patriots offense. Now, because the Patriots are in the second half of the season now, I'm going to tell you y'all something right now. And I'm trying to pull off my last point over here. You cannot sleep on the Baltimore Ravens. And I already told you about that. The fact that they are Super Bowl contenders. Now that the Patriots have the bye week, guess what? And this just proves to my friggin' monologue that every NFL team that the Patriots are going to be playing after the bye week, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs. I don't know about the Bengals because the Bengals are trash. The Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Now they know how to fucking get to Tom Brady. And you know how they're going to do that? They are going to fucking put blitzes in their fucking defensive schemes. Now that the Patriots were exposed last night. And yes, the New England Patriots were exposed last night. If you disagree with me, you know what? Fucking blow me. Fucking blow me. Because that's what happened last night. And I was saying this too on social media because there's a bunch of fucking Patriots sheep fans out there. The true New England Patriot fans who are now calling me a fake fan. Me being Mr. Negative Nancy over here. I'm saying it right now. The Patriots should have not let go of Antonio Brown. They shouldn't. I just hope that they can fix something 13 days from now. Let's see what happens. I know there's people that want Gronk coming back. I'm still not ruling out Gronk coming back this season, but man, if they needed Gronk last night, this was the game that really proved that, hey, they needed a Gronkowski. And they're going to struggle along the way. I just think now every NFL team found a way to beat the New England Patriots. All right, everyone. This is the DF from RI 401 2.0 podcast here. Thank you all so very much for watching this. And, subscribe. Hit that notification button for all up-to-date videos. I got one more rant along the way. And it's going to be about UFC 244. Make sure you like my other page, the DF Wrestling Podcast. 79 subscribers right now. My goal is to get to 100 subscribers. And there's going to be stuff on there this week. Of course, after I do this video, I'm going to upload a hotline that I did about AEW and NXT, about the ratings. Also, later on in the week, of course, tomorrow I will put up the Wrestling Observer as they review Monday Night Raw, which I'm hoping Monday Night Raw is actually a good show. They keep that momentum going from what we saw on SmackDown Friday night. This past weekend on the site, we had the whole WWE Saudi Arabia situation, which is a fucking complete hot mess right now. And, Wednesday Night Wars review on Thursday, AEW NXT. I might put the AEW Full Gear review up on Sunday. Don't know who's going to be doing that. I know it's going to be Dave Meltzer, but is it going to be Brian Alvarez? We'll see what happens with that. So definitely check out the DF Wrestling Podcast. And I just want to say this as a little disclaimer. I do not keep the Wrestling Observer radios up. I just take them out after 8 hours, mainly because of copyright infringement. I don't want to get in trouble with the Wrestling Observer Radio, so that's why you see these videos get uploaded and then I just take them out. So, what I want to do on this website this week, I want to not just get into sports, but also pop culture. I know a lot of people were watching the Terminator movie this week. I got a roast about that franchise, and I will talk about that. It's not just sports that I want to get into with this page. I want to get into movies and all of that shit, and current events that are happening in the world right now. So I want to make this into a sports pop culture page, and hope everybody likes this. So my next roast I'm going to be talking about here was the UFC from this past weekend. Saturday was a big fight day. I was so happy about this weekend because you had UFC 244 from Madison Square Garden, and anybody that knows me personally knows that Madison Square Garden, I have a special place in my heart with Madison Square Garden because of the history of the WWE, headlining over there. And every time there is this big sporting event over there, I just like to get, people like friends of mine, we like to have a get together and just watch a UFC, a boxing event. And my ultimate goal one day is to go to Madison Square Garden. We had UFC, and then we had the Canelo fight, which, by the way, Canelo winning in the 11th round, that was a pretty good fight. It was a close fight. Canelo wins. He goes 15 pounds up, wins the light heavyweight championship. But UFC 244. And my gripe with this is after 3 straight rounds of what was a hard-fought fight, when both of these guys, and yes, you always have that code of honor, that warrior code of honor. And this was for the BMF championship, or for rated R terms, because no kids or no teenagers watch this channel, the baddest motherfucker in the game. So you had Nate Diaz go up against Jorge Masvidal, and this match was called off by a ringside doctor because of the fact that Nate Diaz sustained a massive cut over his right eye in the first round. You know what I call that? Fucking bullshit. And I'm going to give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, Tyson Fury was in a boxing match against some guy from Sweden. It was on ESPN Plus. I watched the fight because I'm more into the heavyweight division now in boxing. And Tyson Fury had the same exact cut that Nate Diaz had. The doctors in Las Vegas did not stop the fight, despite the fact that Tyson Fury was fucking bleeding from his eye, even over here, same way that Nate Diaz got cut. And he kept fighting. And that shows you the heart of the warrior right there. Blood splattering all over these judges, all over the commentary booth. And they let Tyson Fury fight the whole fight. But since this is mixed martial arts, we have to fucking stop the fight in the 3rd round. And I'm not a doctor. I don't have a fucking PhD. I didn't see the cut up close like the doctors did. So I don't know if it was bad enough to call the end of the fight. Some people are going to say, you know what? Probably was. But the majority of people that saw this fight said fucking bullshit. And I'm just so fucking upset that we got the finish that we got. And it took away that moment from Nate Diaz and Jorge. So let me talk about the fight over here. So the first round, I thought Masvidal won the first round because he dropped Diaz pretty brutally in that round. And that's when Nate Diaz had the cut. In the second round, I thought it was a little bit of a boring round. Less brutality. Masvidal, to me, won the second round. And then in the third round, and this is where Nate Diaz gets into his A game. If you see in the fights that he had with Conor McGregor, especially the second fight, not the first fight, because the first fight ended, I believe, before the third round. In the second fight I'm talking about, you saw Nate Diaz getting up to Conor McGregor. And Nate Diaz, in that round, hit some pretty big shots. And I thought that he was getting that momentum. And I was giving him that round. I gave Nate Diaz the third round. And then once you had that doctor's decision, that's when he was robbed. And there were moments during the fight where it looked like Nate Diaz was surviving. And I'm not taking anything away from Jorge Masvidal over this decision that the doctor made. Now, I want to see this fight happen again because I would love to see these two fight again, but Dana White, he said in the press conference, the post-fight press conference, that he doesn't expect to see this fight, which I think is fucking complete bullshit, in my honest opinion. But, you know, I just hope that Nate Diaz, he sticks around the MMA game. We see him back in the octagon again soon. But regardless, that UFC 244, man, what a night. Especially the first fight on the main card where some dude just basically knocked this guy's out. Like, he fucking kicked him and just knocked the fuck out of this guy. It was fun. And I can't wait to UFC 245, man. 3 championship fights coming up. Maybe I'll talk about that. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, that's going to do it for my rant video here. I will try to do maybe the Dallas Cowboys. Tomorrow I'll talk about the Cowboys. They play the Giants. And then if there's anything that comes up later. In fact, I want to talk about that Terminator. Why I think the Terminator franchise should be done. I want to do a video on that. And I might do that for all you pop culture fans. So till then, I am out. Deuces and love.